Did you know that no matter how much money you make, you need a budget? In today's video, I'm going to cover why budgets are so important and how you can get one started today. So keep watching. There's a saying that I really love, and it's, you can't expect what you don't inspect. What that means is many people live their lives hoping to make more money, hoping they have enough money in retirement, hoping that they can pay for that vacation or buy those holiday presents for their loved ones. But they don't take the time to plan or save or analyze their budget to make sure that they have the resources available. So one of the reasons that having a budget is so important is because you're bringing in this income and you need to be able to put a name to every single penny that you bring in. Even if you make a lot of money or you have extra money left over at the end of the month, every one of those dollars still needs to have a place. Is it going to go into savings? Is it going to go into your investments? Or is it going to be donated to your favorite charity? Regardless of where it goes, every dollar needs to have a job. You need to know where you're going to put it. Now, most of us do not have a surplus of money lying around, which is why it's even more important that we budget. We need to know where every penny is going so that we can find areas that we might be able to cut back so that we can add to our savings, grow our emergency fund, invest for retirement, and make sure that we are creating a strong financial foundation for our future. During my years as a financial advisor, and even now as a law school grad student, I've helped numerous families and individuals start their financial journey by creating a budget. I'd like to go through a few simple steps that you can follow to get your budget started today. The first thing you want to do is pull records of your past purchases. I recommend at least 3 months because that will give you an average accounting of how much you spend in different times of the year. Now, you can do the last 3 months, you can do a summer, a holiday time, and a low season time where maybe you don't spend as much. You know your spending best, so choose 3 months that are going to give you the most range of your spending habits so that you can create a most accurate average. Getting this data can most easily be accomplished by printing your checking and saving statements as well as any credit card statements that you have. Whatever you use to spend money, go print out those statements from those accounts. Now, if you are more of a cash person and you don't have records of your spending, then what you're going to want to do is to start tracking your spending right now and for the next 30 days. You can keep a little notepad on you or use the notes app from your phone, but whatever you spend for the next 30 days, just make sure to jot it down. Write down what it was that you purchased and how much the total was. Now that you have your spending records, you're going to want to go line by line and categorize each expense. Now, you really can individualize your budget in whatever way that's best for you. But here is an example of an easy way to categorize your budget. You have your income, your savings, your fixed expenses, your semi-fixed expenses, variable expenses, and what I like to call surplus variable expenses. Those are going to be the types of expenses that you should be willing and able to cut out of your budget whenever you might need to tighten up your spending. If you're like me and you love to color code things, this would be a perfect opportunity to get your different colored highlighters and to color code every line item on your records. Now, if you didn't physically print out your documents, then what you can do is go line by line and start directly entering your information into an Excel spreadsheet or handwrite it down on a piece of paper. I am definitely an Excel spreadsheet kind of girl, but I've shown you here how you can easily do the same thing, handwriting it on a piece of paper. Here you can see that I've taken all of the different sections from the budget and I've written down what the expenses were for the month of September. Now, this is a pretend person with pretend income and pretend expenses, but you can see that, for example, the fixed expenses and semi-fixed expenses areas are typically only going to have one expense for the month. You usually have that one bill, you pay it and you're done. Variable expenses and surplus variable is where you're gonna see all the little nickel and diming. So you notice under groceries, this person went to the grocery store 4 times that month and spent those different amounts. For line items like groceries, gas, toiletries, anything that's going to have more than one expense in it in a given month, you're going to want to tally the total and write that to the left of the line item. So you can see my values under variable and surplus variable, where on the left side, I've created the totals for each of those line items. This is what we're going to use to start to create the budget. You want to see what your total expenses are for each of these sections so that you can figure out where you need to pare down or what you need to set for your budget. Next to the title of each major section, like income, savings, fixed expenses, etc., you see that I put the total amount for that entire subsection. And then I calculated how much was spent for the month of September, subtracted it from income, and you can see here that this imaginary person spent $46.98 more than they made in the month of September. Usually this happens when people use their credit cards and they don't even realize that they're spending more money than they make. And this is how you get behind. So it's so important to create a budget so that you avoid situations like this. Once you've done this for each of your 3 months, you're going to look at the different line items and determine the average amount that was spent. Now, if these averages fall at or below your monthly income, then you can use those numbers to create your budget. If you feel that there are areas that you can cut back now that you have a grasp of what your spending looks like, then try and adjust these numbers to more accurately reflect what you're capable of doing. Especially if you don't have any savings happening right now, you want to find areas that you can take from in order to start creating a savings plan. This individual was able to make a determination of what they would like to set as their future budget goal. By creating a budget that is less than what they typically earn, this individual is now going to be able to be purposeful with any excess money that they bring in on any given month. You can see here on their budget and savings plan page that any money that's earned above their budget is going to be equally allocated across credit card 1, the emergency fund, the sinking fund, and the Roth IRA until the Roth IRA gets maxed out at $6,000 for the year. Now, the reason I put credit card 1 is because the most effective way to pay down debt is to allocate any extra money you have towards one debt until that's paid off, and then take the total amount you were paying towards that one debt and then apply it to the next debt. There's different ways to go about it, whether you focus on the debt with the highest interest rate or the debt with the lowest balance. But either way, it's the same process. So here, this individual has chosen credit card 1 as the first debt to tackle. Hopefully this video has convinced you of the importance of having a budget. And if you don't have one already, I hope that me walking through this hypothetical has given you the motivation that you need to tackle your own budget this weekend. As you can see, there's nothing complicated about creating a budget. It just takes a little bit of time and patience to walk through your past bank statements and to create a plan. So set aside some time this weekend and create your budget so that you can move forward with your financial goals. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments below. If you have any additional tips and advice, drop those in the comments below as well. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next Monday.